Brooks on mute.
Yeah, Brooks on mute.
Brooks, you on mute? He might be on
I
mute.
like
Oh
that
yeah, he on mute.
jacket though. Cuz you gotta send me some merch.
Hey man. Hey,
Come
it's coming too.
on,
It's
man.
coming, man. It's
Oh,
coming, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the 411 merch, baby. Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
it's coming your way. So we're gonna get that done. But by the way, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Here we are, 411 Sports World Network. We are live. We are on YouTube. We are on TikTok. We are on uh IG. We everywhere, man. And we're gonna get Brooks back on here. And there's Brooks to showcase. He's here, uh, getting his technical difficulties out the way there. Brooks, you might be muted if you can hear us. Um, but once you get everything set up, you just gotta make sure you unmute there. You'll be good. We're gonna chop it up, man. The NCAA. We're gonna put a bow on this recent weeks of college football, and then we're gonna dive into some NFL, man. Because I'm a Seahawk guy. Philly Red Zone is an Eagles guy, as you can see with the ring. And then we got our man over there, Brooks to showcase the Falcon man. And we're gonna find out what's going on there, especially those three respective teams. And we have Shedeur with his debut coming up. We'll talk about that. So and everything else in the middle. All right, let's go ahead and get the NCAA rolling. Uh, how do you guys feel thus far about the NC2A? And where we are right now with the college football playoffs drawing closer and closer. Philly, you
Man,
can kick us off.
I the team that got me like saying wow is them kids in Texas A&M. I know I'm in Texas, so I ain't being biased. I just know I watched the team be down 30-3, and I'm like, oh, they got their first loss, and I look back, and they come back and they win. You know what,
Mm.
31-30? I mean, come on, that was a very impressive win. Um, I mean, Alabama is Alabama. You know, they gonna do what they do. Ohio State is Ohio State. I mean, they just far superior than everybody they play in their conference. I mean, they just a machine. And uh, I mean, you could look at uh Notre Dame. They are what they are, man. But I mean, overall, man, Texas A&M just shocked me. I mean, I'm glad it's not the Longhorns because I got tired of hearing all that Manning crap. You know, personally, Ty Simpson is a better quarterback than Manning. You know, and that's that Alabama quarterback. I would take him before I would take Manning. You know, and even
Yeah.
even University of Georgia, man. I mean, after having those two losses, I mean, they came back. That defense is waking up. You know, they're playing very very ball controlled football and sound football, and their quarterback is starting to get it. You know, cutting down the turnovers, playing within the game plan. Um, and then the last team that I've been keeping an eye on is was it Indiana? I mean, they just I don't know what that coach doing up there, man, because that dude don't have a bunch of 5 stars and he just find ways to win. You
Well,
know,
that's a good point. Point right there. We can
yeah,
stop right there for a second on Indiana because this team is, uh, they've been winning, and with Penn State falling off to the wayside, and their former coach now signing with Virginia Tech after he
yeah,
just got the gig there, Franklin. Uh, Penn State looks like outside of Ohio State, they look like the biggest threat to Ohio State, right? And when you say how they did it, look at the formula with that Shingeti, I guess is how you say his name, but he came from James Madison. He brought a lot of players with him from James Madison. James Madison used to be an FCS school. They moved up to FBS a couple of years ago, But he basically brought a lot of those players, like you're saying, like those tough 3 stars, those overlooked guys, and he pretty much brought a lot of them with him. And I think he's got a lot of solid players that, that are going to stick around for one. And so that way they have a team chemistry type situation going on, and they got an attitude about themselves, man. They want to try to prove that they're not a basketball team. They're a basketball school. They have a football team now, so that's where they are with that. But do you guys feel like Indiana is a legitimate? Do they have a legitimate chance of winning it all this season? Indiana
Uh,
Hoosiers.
my mic on this time.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, you there? You
Cool.
there?
I mean, this question is going to be settled, right? I mean, Indiana's going to play Ohio State uh, in the Big Ten championship. I mean, um, barring Ryan Day not having another absolute collapse against Michigan, right? And Indiana's got. I don't think they have many tough games left either. Um, they got Purdue left, right? Um, so yeah, I think this is gonna figure itself out. We just got to wait a couple weeks. If they can, a lot of people are going to Ohio State as the best team. They've been ranked number one for most of the season and kind of Heisman. Both of them have Heisman quarterbacks, Heisman candidate quarterbacks. So that's going to sort itself out. Um, I think when you think about Texas A&M, that I think they got to go on the road to Texas. So we'll see a little bit more about them. Um, and Georgia's kind of in a good spot right now because I think they can. You know, I mean, the Georgia Tech game looks a lot less daunting than it did, at the beginning of the season with Tech's defense just being absolutely atrocious.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know how they're going to get any stops against this Georgia offense. That's just that the offense has been fine, has peaked all year. It's a defense that's kind of rounding into form now. I don't know how Tech's going to get stops. Um, so I think Georgia. They may a lot of people will think they got the ideal situation of not making the SEC championship and getting basically 2 weeks off, probably because they'll get a bye in the college football playoff, and um, they'll have a pretty good amount of rest to get right. So, um, I got questions. I got a lot of questions about A&M with the way they played against South Carolina. Um, they were resilient, but that first half was just terrible. Um, Alabama's got that 2 losses now. That Oklahoma
yeah,
defense really stifled them. So I got questions about, you got questions about them. Their run game, Bama's run game has just been non-existent this year and making them really one-dimensional. And when you talk about getting into playoffs, when you're one-dimensional like that, think about a team like Texas Tech with a very good defense. That Oklahoma team got a very good defense. When you walk into that playoff with against these, high caliber defenses and you're one-dimensional, that's gonna be tough for Alabama. So they're definitely a flawed team. Um, so I think I think a lot of questions are going to be answered in these next couple weeks. And that's kind of how I think it's playing out right now.
yeah. And gentlemen, think about this. I'm trying to think about how this little circle works, but okay. Uh, Alabama beats Georgia. Let me see. Alabama beats Georgia. Like Georgia beats Texas. Texas beats Oklahoma. Oklahoma beats Alabama. It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy in the SEC. But the thing is, like that loss now by Alabama, it just really opened the door up for Georgia. Um, and they look like to me, they look like the favorite to come out the SEC now at this point. Um, but are we
But it's
safe to
week to
say that the
week,
number one?
man. It's week to week now. They made college football and it was genius. Now with the playoff structure, it's like the
Hmm.
NFL, man, but at a lower tier. I mean, you kind of know who's going to be in the playoff every year based off of the programs. You'll have your little sprinkles, but I mean, I'm entertained, man. I mean, it is very entertaining because look how we talking. We don't know who's declared number one. We can all say Ohio State right now, but Ohio State can wake up and lay an egg. You know, Indiana can show up and just walk the floor with them or any given Saturday, man. So
Well,
it's gonna be wide. It's wide open to me.
The thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me when I look at these rankings, and this has been all over to TV today, is you think about Notre Dame and Miami.
oh
Um,
God,
Miami beat Notre Dame, right?
right?
They both got two losses. I know Miami. I know Miami has losses to teams that aren't ranked anymore. But I mean, you just gotta. If I'm the committee, I gotta put more stock in head to head matchups.
Yeah,
Um, I just don't get that ranking. It's almost it's that story of losing early. You know, losing early versus losing late, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You'd rather lose early, and that's what's happening with Notre Dame. And sometimes that just doesn't sit right with me. You think about a team like Alabama, who's lost, had this big win streak and lost to a very good Oklahoma team. I just, Notre Dame's ascendance up this, it's just, I have problems with it. I have problems with it. It's just a name brand. It's like this independent Notre Dame, they gotta be, they're not gonna get an automatic bid. So we have to, I think the committee's kind of like, we gotta position them to get in kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, because of, the brand. Um, so that one that's the one I'm kind of looking at. I'm like, I don't know.
yeah. They got to have their money makers in there. You know, so that's the only difference between the league and college now. You got to have your core four or core five in that playoff, and then everybody else fall in line. You
Well,
know.
go figure. Go figure. Michigan is there's rumblings about Michigan talking about trying to be independent.
Yeah,
They're thinking about leaning that direction now to be an independent.
yeah. That athletic directors tell them what to think about that.
Yeah,
that money hit different.
yeah. But yeah, but the only thing that I do have that, and it'll take some adjustment from me because I'm more of a purist when it comes to that. But now, even though it does bring excitement, I agree with that. Um, now the losses, they don't sting as much anymore. If you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like a two-loss Alabama team, that pretty much would have all but knocked them out of this thing, for the rest of the year. And we'll just be trying to figure out what type of bowl game they're going to play in. But now, a two-loss Alabama team, it doesn't sting as bad. You know what I mean? Like this Oklahoma loss, it was a big loss, but at the same time, they still can make the playoff. They still can win the championship. So it kind of takes that regular season piece of it out where the losses during the season don't sting as much anymore. But at the same time, it does allow like an Indiana to legitimately have a chance to win a championship, and there should be no complaining about it. Like if they don't, you know what I mean? Because they're in the tournament, they found a way to get in, and they have a chance to help, basically handle their own destiny. You know what I'm saying? Control their own destiny at this point. No one can, no one, they can't say no one can, they can't win it because nobody want them to. You know what I mean? So that is the good part about having the tournament set up, the playoff set up the way it is now. Um, are you guys completely okay with how the college football playoff scenarios are right now?
I am. I mean, I'm glad they expanded it. I mean, it gives again, you're gonna have your core four, core five in there, and it gives three other teams that nobody expect to make it a chance. But I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, I'm glad they got away from the manipulation of the NCAA and the bowls and the rankings because the strength of schedule and this, that, and the third, and they still sprinkle a little bit of that in, but now it's wins and losses, and I mean, you know, you look at a team like Boise State last year, they was able to make it. I mean, they were
Yeah,
dominant, and they got in there. They got humbled, but they got in there. That don't happen. 8 or 10 years. You know what I mean? You know,
yeah,
prior. So you know,
I mean, I like the change this year with not. they can, you get the automatic bids with the conference winners, but they get to seed them how they want, right? I thought that
Hmm.
was last year. It was just a little weird. I mean, it just didn't feel right, because we had the Big 12 champ, who was Arizona State. I mean, they gave Texas a game, but still, nobody thought they should have been in, with one of the buys. Um, so I think they did the right thing there. It does again. It does kind of benefit teams who are just going to be on the outside looking in on a championship game, like Georgia could be. It does kind of go and benefit them. But still, I still think you have to do that. It's still not. It's not, the college playoff is still not helping the little guys, like these smaller conference teams. It's not helping them. They're all vying for basically that one spot, right? The highest ranked conference champion, right? Of the other ones, right? That's the only way they're getting in. Um,
Oh yeah,
you
that
know,
group of five or whatever.
Hey,
yeah, the group
guys,
of
give me a
five, the
second. I'm
highest.
go on a mute real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the highest ranked group of five champion gets in, and that's basically, you have all those teams. They're just vying for that one spot. I mean, while you're giving those teams a chance, I mean, you got all these teams basically vying for one spot. I mean,
Yeah.
so you're not really, this playoff isn't really opening up access for them, per se. So I think they have to schedule differently. You think about a South Florida team and how tough their schedule was. They're gonna have to, if they want to get in at an at-large bid, they're gonna have to schedule like that non-conference, and that's really hard. For these
Yeah.
smaller school teams, it's gonna be really hard for them to get an at-large bid, because they're gonna have to stack their schedule. Unlike other teams who are gonna play just with their conferences, going to play those better teams, and
Right.
um, so it's not giving access to those group of five teams. They're all vying for that one spot, and uh, but it is exciting. It is exciting. It gives, you get these first round games. You get to play in that on campus. So again,
Hmm.
I like that. I wish, I wish you gave. That's, to me, that's an advantage I would give to, the first round buys too, right?
So what's
You get
that?
this
What's that?
to get a play a home game on campus. Imagine,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that's, I mean, you think about, and you could talk about, you could debate this all day. I mean, in football, more so than other sports, buys do help because it allows teams to get healthy, right? But it also, you can't just sit there and say it's a disadvantage, right? You can't say just an overwhelming advantage just to get the
Uh-huh.
buys, right? Give them something else. Give them, I know it's all about the money and the bowl tie-in, so this is, irrelevant. But I would give them, that first round, that second round, right? I'd give that a home game on campus too, because now you're really giving them more an advantage for getting a top seed and the bye. You get a bye and a home game. So, because I just, that, to me, the buys, just people just inherently think they're an advantages, and from somebody, especially if you look on the baseball side of things, where I've seen, you know the Braves get um, the bye, and then it immediately you get stomped in the first round because the other team has the momentum.
Yeah, they've been playing.
I think if I'm correct, none of the teams with the bye won last year, right? I think all four of those teams lost. If I'm remembering correctly.
We can go back and look at it, but I
Yeah,
think you're
I
I
think
think
I
you're
heard,
right though.
but I think I heard that this morning. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, give them something more than the bye. I don't, you know, give them a home game, and then the semifinals sit at the bowl sites, right? I just think there needs to be a little bit more. Um, because it makes no, it just, you think about it, it makes no sense to give these first round teams a home game, and then they get to come play at a neutral site. You know,
I
it makes,
guess.
if you think
Well,
about it that way, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
you
Um,
know what's going to fix that is when they add more playoff teams. Now those teams will get that home game
uh, oh
in that
God,
round when they add four more teams. Because eventually that's coming. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be another addition to this thing. I think it's going to be another addition until we get like an even 16, or at least to that point. Like that's coming.
Yeah, I would.
So
Yeah, they're gonna have to
I
get it to
know.
12.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be. Yeah,
I
it's
would
going to get somewhere.
incorporate. I would definitely incorporate some more. Um, I would try to find a happy medium between the BCS and all. Just doing it, but with a selection committee. I would
Hmm.
somehow try to hybrid that together. Because I think there's just inherent bias in when you're selecting it, just based on watching it, right? And then there are probably some you can't even recognize. I just think they need to pull something together, pull in a metric or some kind of ranking like the BCS again, not purely BCS, but pull that together with the committee and try to eliminate some of the biases. Um, because again, I think when you think about teams like Notre Dame, who's an independent who doesn't play a conference championship, I think in the back of their minds, they're trying to make sure this team is
They're trying to
set
make
up
this
for
team is
an at-large bid.
set up for a large fit.
Yep.
I agree. They gotta
Yep.
do something in that to even it out, But I mean, at the end of the day, I think they need to just pretty much uh, a win and loss metric, and then um, like strength of schedule. You gotta pay the top 10 teams in order you know, to be considered, man. Because you'll have a team like Alabama. I mean, they play all the Louisiana Monroes just to go undefeated. You know,
Mm.
they no cream puffs. Everybody playing everybody. And
Yeah. And
I
see,
think
some
that.
teams. Oh my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was getting a little echo, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm
I'm gonna wait.
sorry. I'm on the phone. I gotta pick my daughter up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, this app don't like Android. So
So what you do is I'm gonna be quiet so you can say what you gotta say, and then you'll mute, and then I'll talk.
so what you do is play, and then you.
They dropped off.
Oh, did he fall off?
Yeah, it fell off. Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
he'll
what he
come
was
back.
saying with strength of schedule, I mean, like that goes back to what we were talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
that group of five, if you rely too much on strength of schedule, that group of five is not going to get any at large bids, right? They're just going to be
Yeah.
tied to that one automatic. Um, so I mean, there's flaws to every kind of scenario. I just think, I think it's swung. You went from the BCS, and I think you swung too far the other way to just human selections, and I think it's too easy to see the kind of biases that exist um, with these big name teams, these big brand teams. They're brands, and when Notre Dame loses early, but then runs off this big win streak, you're just going to keep
Hmm.
sliding them up, sliding them up, sliding them up. And again, they slid them up above a Miami team, and you know, I think Notre Dame has, probably the better wins, right? Um,
Hmm.
but I think there's just a little, it's just too, especially when you get outside, your top 4 or 5, you can just really see the biases kind of creeping in with these later teams in the 6 through 12 range or 6 through 15, how you're looking at those teams. So
Oh yeah, because I can't wait for that part to happen. Like when it gets to the selection part, and see which teams are gonna be the ones complaining, saying they should have been in. You know, they should have been. They should have been the back end, one of those back end seeds. That should have been us. But we'll see how that goes. Uh, but anything else on the college scene before we switch to NFL?
No, I got nothing.
Okay, Brooks.
no,
Uh, Okay. All right. So, we talked about the college scene and everything. Now we're gonna switch to the NFL. Let's start with you, Philly. Start with your Eagles, man. And there's been talk about the offense struggles, but man, the defense is doing some big things, man. Update us on the Eagles and what's going on there in Philly. Oh,
Correct.
you there, Philly?
Can you hear me?
Okay, now we hear you.
We
All
got
right. I mean, everybody talking about the offense. They're talking about the offense. It's a mistake because before the Eagles went on a bye, they scored 38 and I want to say 28 against the Vikings. So the offense is. I mean, they played in Green Bay with wind and it was sub, 20 degrees. So you're not going to air it out. You're going to play ball control football, mistake free football. You're going to win, and they won. All right, they didn't put 30 points. Everybody won arena football in real football. That's not a thing. You play ball control, you win the game. They won. And then the same thing playing against the Lions. They're in Philly. 60 mile per hour winds. You're not going to throw the ball, all over the field. I mean, it was passes from both Goff and Jalen, and every time they released the ball, it sailed. It was, and it made both quarterbacks look horrible. So,
you.
but they put up 16 points. That was enough to win the. My thing is with football, in NFL football, when is it going to be a point win the game, and that's what matters versus because when the playoffs start, nobody's going to care about you.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like to go back off what Philly Red Zone. There's a lot of teams with good records who just haven't impressed people. Um, you think about the Jaguars who are somehow 6-4. You think about the Broncos at 9-2. Do
Hmm.
I mean you look at their games and they've eked a lot of them out in the fourth quarter where games where they just look terrible for 3 quarters and then somehow pull it out in the fourth quarter. You think about the Bears. I mean, are we believers in the Bears at 7-3? Are we believers even in the Packers have been so up and down? There are a lot of teams with really good records who just haven't been impressive. Even like you think about the Niners, they're 7-4 and they have so many injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've been terrible defensively in some games. Um, so there's a lot of teams like that where you're just not sure whether to buy in. Buffalo, another example. They got beat by the Falcons. We got stomped by the Falcons. And then they'll play good one week and not good there. So there's a lot of teams like that um, in the NFL right now. Where you have these records and eyeball, you look at the record and like, oh, that's a good record, but the the eye test is telling you something different. So there's a lot of teams like that right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing about the Eagles, they're the defending champs. They're the defending champs,
Yeah.
and all they do is win. And they find a
Exactly.
way. They find a way to win, and they do it in different ways, whether it's special teams or it's defense or it's offense. But the bottom line
Uh,
is they
we,
find a way to win, so they have a complete team. You know what I mean?
we're gonna, yeah. I mean,
I
you're gonna give the
agree.
team, yeah, you're gonna give teams like the Eagles a little bit more slack, man, because of the talent level, because they've done it before. You know what they have, the pieces that they have. So you know, definitely when it comes to them, they should be judged differently from other teams with decent records who have been kind of up and down. So um, I definitely um, I definitely don't put the Eagles in that category of teams I was kind of naming off.
Yeah. And I definitely say this, hey, again, every week they're playing a tough opponent. The Lions. You
Teams
missing the
out.
Packers.
Uh,
You missing all these teams,
maybe off.
uh, all these playoff teams and everything, and they continue to win. So even if they're not playing at optimal level in offense, they're still winning, and that's the bottom line. So imagine when they do, and it may just happen this week because they got Dallas coming up, and Dallas, uh, you might as well call them Alice because the defense isn't really there. So I mean, now they probably really going to cook this week. So we'll see what happens there. But Philly, are you back?
Yeah, he dropped back off.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and jump to your team, Brooks.
Oh God, Jesus.
Man, Atlanta, man. What the helly,
Oh
man?
man.
What the helly,
Oh
man? Wow.
man.
It seems like Atlanta's finding ways not to win games, man.
I
What is going
mean,
on, man?
it's I mean, it's really is staggering the way that they keep finding ways to lose. Um, that- what's sad about it is you can see the talent on this team. You can see the pieces. You can see Drake London and Bijan Robinson, these two pass rushers, and Jay
Yeah,
Walker and Pierce, who have really just taken this pass rush to places we haven't seen since like John Abraham days. They really can get after the passer. But then they've had, like all teams, they've had injuries. Diablo, their linebacker, they really don't have any depth behind him. Bertrand, the guys they're putting in are just really liabilities. They've had some injuries on the back end, and those guys have been liabilities at times. So it's hard to. I mean, yeah, every team deals with injuries, but there's just so many pieces on this team. There's so much talent, and they've given so many good teams. They've competed with so many good teams and had a chance to win. Like Indy, um, like the Niners. We actually beat the Bills and what seems like forever ago, in another lifetime. But it comes back to the same thing, and the the sad thing is, whatever coach you bring in, this team kind of looks this. They do the same things. They look undisciplined, a lot of penalties. They give up when it's crunch time. They don't do the little things you have to do to win the game, to put away a
yeah,
team, giving up big plays, defensive mishaps. You know, like I said, penalties. It's the same thing. No matter where it's Raheem Morris or Arthur Smith or the kind of later years of Dan Quinn after he blew the Super Bowl, right?
right.
So that points upward. That's organization. That's not hiring the right coach. Raheem Morris. I mean, the players love him and the players play hard for him, but you had a sample size of him. He was the Buccaneers coach for 2, 3 seasons. He did not do well. You had that
Yeah.
sample size. I mean, Mr. 4-1, look at your coach. We interviewed him.
Wow.
Doesn't he look like a better doesn't he look like a better coach than Raheem Morris? Of course he does. You know?
Yeah.
um, so I mean that hiring, I mean, not wanting, getting so stung by Arthur Smith where you don't want to hire an upcoming coordinator anymore. So you just block that out and you go with somebody who's got experience. And Raheem Morris did have experience. But decisions like that, why you can't just blind yourself like that and take away other opportunities to hire these. Just because Arthur Smith failed doesn't mean you shouldn't hire another up and coming coordinator, right? That's just
Agreed.
elementary. That's just elementary managerial stuff that they keep missing on. They keep missing on these coaches. You know, um, I'm not going to defend like Belichick. And Belichick's old, and what he's doing at North Carolina, he probably wasn't. I don't, I don't say we should have hired Belichick at all. And I think he wanted a lot of control, and at his age, you can't give him that. But I'm just saying, like your coach is a perfect example. We hired you, Ben Johnson. Why didn't we? Ben Johnson, who's at the Bears, right? The offensive
Mm-hmm.
coordinator for the Lions, who went to the Bears. Why? You know, he seems like a better coach. That's a 7-3 Bears team. Do I have no idea how they're 7-3? You whip on the coaching search, and then You have to you have to go back to that mess of a quarter, the mess of the situation they have at quarterback, right?
Yes.
You sign Kirk Cousins, then you draft Michael Penix, and again, Michael Penix tore both of his ACLs in college, and to pay him that kind of money, you're making a gamble at that
Yep.
pick when you already invested in Kirk Cousins, and look what happened. You hit both scenarios. You all not only did you pay you paid Kirk Cousins off a Achilles injury, and look at what's happened. Michael Penix has got a partially torn ACL, and Kirk Cousins can barely move out there.
Yep.
Like like this goes beyond the coaches and the players to the way this organization is run. Even even the Pierce trade. I like Pierce. He's good, but what did you do? You banked that we were going to be a contender this year, and now look, we're not. We're heading for a top 10 draft pick, and we're not going to have control of it. It's just a series of mistakes
Yeah.
that go well beyond coaching to the people that run this Falcons organization. Mistake after mistake after mistake. And
Yeah.
Fontenot, the GM, Fontenot, the GM, had a great job. I will give him this credit or credit's due. Had a great draft this year. Those first four picks, the safeties, Watts, Bowman, you know, uh, Walker, Pierce, good players, starters. Give them all the credit, but you got to go back. That Penix draft pick, that Kyle Pitts draft pick. Those are really hard to overcome. Really hard to overcome. And Michael Penix has regressed. I think Michael Penix has gotten and that coaching is a factor now. I'm not saying it's the only thing. It's a lot of organizational misfires, but I mean Michael Penix has gotten worse. Like who's coaching him up? Like
But sound like he said that he didn't have anybody coaching him up. From what we're hearing out there today, that he started. He
yeah,
said that he's hearing more from his former people and he's in the circle more so than his own coaching staff.
yeah, he's just one of those guys. I thought he looked better at the beginning of the season than he did later in the season, and I just uh, and to me it's just organization. This organization is not run well. You know, they not saying they haven't drafted some good players, but overall they've made too many mistakes, coaching hire mistakes, big time mistakes in the draft where you can't afford to have those mistakes, contract mistakes. This organization is mismanaged. And I think that's the big piece of it. It's mismanaged. And it's a shame because this team has talent. Um, so I mean so it's just another lost season for these Falcons, and we'll see. It's going to be a mess moving forward because they have no wiggle room when it comes to quarterback. They have these big contracts. I don't know, so I don't know what they're going to do moving forward, especially at the quarterback position. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And case in point, think about the Seahawks right now. Um, I'm not saying that they're one of the greatest teams out. This is going to go back to what you were saying about the quarterback situation. Think about how Seattle drafted their quarterback, Ricky from Alabama, and I mean I've barely seen him on the field. Like he came in one time and they ran like a gadget type play and he fumbled it away, and we
Right.
haven't seen him since. And that's kind of veteran, and just the veteran is a placeholder, all right, Donald. And maybe we'll see what happens down the line when he fully develops.
And maybe we'll see what happens
You know
when he
what I'm saying?
develops.
Let you guys fully develop and then
Let you
roll them
guys
out.
fully develop and then roll them out.
Virgo, if you're back, get some of
Virgo,
your thoughts
if you get
on
some of your
Atlanta.
thoughts on Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes, I'm about to mute and
Can
drop,
you
and I'll be right back.
hear me?
Yeah, y'all good. Y'all take it. I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, because I'm choppy. I mean, I think with Atlanta, their issue is they tried to be good too fast. I mean, Drake, you got Bijan.
Sure.
You know, they should have went on ahead and got. Penix was good, but I think their medical staff just managed that whole deal with him. He had injuries, injury history, and it's catching up to him. I mean, and then the Kirk Cousins pickup, that was another pickup. You spent all this money on Kirk, and he's sitting the bench. Those are salary cap resources you could have used for another, another, players, and build that, continue to build that off and defensive line, and build the fabric of your team, you know, and then just be patient on the quarterback aspect until you lock in the guy, that has winning pedigree, that has a clean injury history for the most part, and a guy that proved that he can win. Penix had a year, and that was it. He really didn't prove that he can win. And you see what happened when he get pressure, he folds. You know, and it's just sad, man. You got Drake London and Bijan. Those guys are killers on the field, man.
Yeah.
But Kyle Pitts, they held on to Kyle Pitts for what reason? The guy is what he is. They should have traded him when they could have. Y'all could have got a round pick. And y'all they still thinking about the potential of Kyle Pitts. It's over. Cut your loss.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. When you say mismanagement, that is the mismanagement, and I see what you're talking about. I mean, you you don't think my squad would have got rid of Kyle Pitts if a third round pick was, and they look at his stats and was like, you know what, let's cut bait. Look, fold up the tent. If he balls out somewhere else, so be it. Get the pick, build your team. And thing, man, like even the offensive line. I mean, y'all still got holes on the offensive line. That's why Penix is hurt. The interior of the offensive line is still suspect. I'm not even a Falcons fan, and I know that. And it's been like that. It's been like that for years since y'all had the Matthews kid. That was anchoring that guard. That was slide the tackle because of injury. And I mean, build your line. Don't be so in a rush to to be the number one team. You got to build your team in phases. And then pick up the quality free agents. Take a couple flyers on some guys. And that's the thing I see with Atlanta. And I think they got with that, and you know, and it bit them. I mean, you got Kirk Cousins collecting dust, making $80 million on the bench. Penix is hurt now. Kirk's coming in. The team is already probably losing faith because they're like, damn, here we go again. It's just messed up. I mean, that defense, Pierce and those guys, oh my God, they studs. I mean, y'all got some gems with those guys. I mean, y'all build that defense is tough, you know. But even that on the back half, man, Terrell, is he gonna stay healthy? He's kind of hit or miss. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
then the guy that y'all got from Cincinnati, the safety, Bates.
Bates.
Yeah, it's like y'all got pieces, man. It's just putting it all together, you know.
Being able to
Being
close
able to
out.
close out. Yeah, that's another thing, But that comes with that winning mentality. Do you want stats or do you want wins? And a lot of these guys, they want stats. They don't care about winning. They thinking about their ranking on Madden, versus saying the hell with Madden. I want to win. We up by 3. 3 minutes on the clock. we gonna grind this clock out. You know, Algier, Bijan, get ready. You know, y'all going to we gonna ground and pound until we grind this clock out. And then look, kick the field goal or punt or do the ball control things to win the game. You know, and a lot of teams that goes back to what y'all was asking me about the Eagles. That's how they play. That, you know, they say their slogan this year is contribution over credit. You know, and it's a lot of teams that's playing in the NFL that don't have that mentality. That's why they lose. You know, and it's a lot of players, man. So, but that's my take, man. And I'll pick up on my boys when y'all give me the green light because I was about to go crazy.
Well, we got your
Well,
back
we
now,
got your
so you
back
can go
now,
ahead
so
and
you
do
can
that.
go ahead and do that. Oh, all right.
I think
Well,
we
I mean, again, the transition to the Eagles, man. The offense I'll say it's laying dormant. I mean, they beat the Chiefs, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Lions, they beat Green Bay, they beat uh the Cowboys, the Giants. They beat all these teams with C plus of a performance. Defense. Now you got in the league that let the Eagles get Jalen Phillips. Oh my gosh! Hey, thank you for a third round pick. You know, I mean, come on now. Now the defense is elite. I'll say this Sunday, it's going to be an offensive explosion. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's when those guys are ready to turn it up. I mean, they didn't forget how to play offense. It's just some poor choice of plays and execution. You know, you got some injuries on your offensive line, but at the end of the day, whether you win 10-7 or 27-7 or 27-20, you won the game. You know, and that's the one thing I can say about the Eagles. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, do I yell at my TV sometimes as I see a guy open and I'm like, man, what happened? But we don't know the nuance of what happened on the field and why the ball didn't go where we think it's supposed to go. But at the end of the day, they executed, they won the game. You know, and that's the thing, man. You know, that's why they're 8-2. They said the Eagles is the most hated 8-2 team in the league. Everybody touting the Rams to be the best team in the league, and the Rams put up less yards than the Eagles this past week, and they struggled with Seattle. They should have
Yeah,
lost to Seattle. Yeah, they should have
yeah.
lost to Seattle. And people want to say the Eagles got lucky because we blocked 2 field goals in the game against the Rams to beat them. I'm like, but the Rams had us down by 5 touchdowns and we came back to beat them. But revisionist history is everything, man. So, it's the NFL, man. The proper parity is there. I mean, again, I'm biased because I'm a bird all day, you know. Um, but it's when you look at it, I like the teams that's gonna rise to the top this year is all about defense. The defense is the equalizer now. Nick's all that high flying, 40 points. You're not doing that. You're gonna have to play good, sound defense. You're gonna have to learn how to grind out a win. Because the refs is keeping the games close because they calling their little calls. Yeah, do my boys hit from some? Yeah. Do we get hurt by others? Yep. Body get the rough shaft. So, it's gonna be interesting as we come down the stretch. Um, I mean, the South is still wide open. The West is open. The NFC East is pretty much, after my boys take care of business Sunday, it's pretty much locked down. So, we can have the NFC wrapped up by week 14.
Well, it's looking like that now, especially with those
Yeah.
two games with the Commanders. Not
Oh
looking
yeah.
as daunting as it might have been in the beginning of the season.
Nah. Yeah. I mean that. That last year that Commanders team was fool's gold. They were fool's gold, man.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah. I mean, again, they try to be good too fast. Yeah, you core lightning in the bottle, build your team. They rush out and sign a bunch of 30-year-olds. Now all of them injured.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. But the Eagles was going to be fine. They always, like I said, they're a complete team. And going back to what Brooks was saying, like the issue that he has with his Falcons, he talks about the decision making from the management, which goes down to the decisions of making the coaches and the coaches' decisions on the field. Like the Eagles don't have that issue. They have it. They have it on lock from management to the coaching staff to the players that they bring in. You know what I'm saying? They to all phases of the game, and you got to get credit where it's due.
yeah, they built a culture, man. They took that college mentality. Look at the players that they drafted. They have a pretty much an all Georgia defense. Why? Because Georgia has the defense. It's elite on defense. So why not get every Georgia player you can get? And then let the cream rise to the top. The good ones
Mm.
fall. I'll give Brooks credit. When he said Ringo, he grimaced and said, "You ain't gonna like him." You're right. You was right, Brooks. Thank you. I've been waiting months to say that to you. Yeah, Ringo is a special teams player.
Yeah,
But that Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis. Oh my
yeah,
God. That Mondon guy, man. Come on. You know.
yeah. A lot of
So
NFL prospects get
they built a
recruited there.
program. They built a culture, man, and that's the one thing that you have to have. In today's NFL, man, where yeah, to build a solid foundation, man, and have a culture. And if you don't fit the culture, you out. You know.
Yeah. All
So
right. Well, gentlemen, we talked about y'all teams, both of your teams, and we talked about my team a little bit. Seattle, you brought them up a little bit, saying that he should have beat the Rams,
mhm.
and this is the first time this season where the quarterback hurt us. Uh, Sam Donald regressed in that game. He threw the ball 44 times. That's a lot of passing attempts.
Yeah.
So if you say, man, he threw it 44 times and four were thrown to the other team, uh, that was the downfall, right? There were situations where he was rushed and pressured, and he cracked under the pressure when he was under some stressful situations. You take those away, Seattle wins wins that game against a good Rams team too. By the way, um, yeah, but I really think that the jury's still out on our Seahawks. We're going to be a playoff team this year. We can see that by record. Um, but Darnold is going to be the key. Is he going to be solid and play mistake-free football? What are
Yeah,
your
I
thoughts?
agree. I think Darnold, man. When I told you Darnold had those pumpkin games, that was what I talk about, man. That pumpkin game come, but when it come, he gonna throw you four. I told you, cuz before the season started.
Well, he revealed his ugly hand there in this game. But we're gonna see if he bounce
Yeah.
back. Tennessee's coming up, so that'll help.
Oh yeah, he'll throw 6 touchdowns that game. He'll have about 375 passing, damn near perfect quarterback rating. That's what he gonna do. Do y'all? Let me ask you this: do y'all play the Rams again?
We do.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So y'all sit there. I mean, common opponents. Y'all, I think y'all got a lot of the tiebreakers, man. So, but head to head, if y'all split, man, that's gonna be interesting coming down the stretch in the West. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I think y'all could win the West. Um, you know, because San Fran, they're a wounded duck, man. They got too many injuries. You know, but I mean, I like what Seattle brings, man. Y'all bring a running game. Y'all got a solid passing game. The defense is elite. Um, you know, I mean, that defense kept y'all in that game. Like, if y'all didn't have a good defense, man, Stafford was trying to put a bounty on y'all head. But that big defense stood up and
Yeah, yeah, because he
started
didn't really have
pressuring
a
him,
good.
and he started making mistakes.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
he
know,
didn't have a great game.
he didn't have a great game. No, he didn't. Not at all. Not at all. So, but
Brooks, what do you think?
Brooks, what do you think?
Do you think Seattle
Do you
has
think Seattle has
a shot
a
here,
shot here,
the playoffs
the
this season?
playoffs this season?
Yeah, like
Like
I think it's really
I
this.
think it's really just
You saw it from like
you
the
saw
press
it from like
conferences.
the
You know,
Hey Philly,
the
Philly, can you
he
mute
really
for
had.
us?
really you
We got okay. Um, yeah, you saw it with the press. I like the uh, still got that guy.
still got. Hey,
Okay,
I'm almost at the house. I'm gonna drop off. I'm gonna get back on. All right.
Cool,
okay, that'll
cool.
work. That'll work.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work.
Okay,
Yeah,
give
so
it a shot, Brooks.
yeah, so we saw how the players came to his defense after the press conference after that game. That really tells you he's integrated as a good leader for your team. So that was good to see. Um, it's one game. Quarterback's going to have those games. You can't really overreact. He's been so good this season, especially like the past few games going into that game where they were just demolishing people and putting up huge numbers offensively. Um, yeah, I think I think you got a strong team. My thing is you just when you have a game like that, you think back to how he ended his season with the Vikings last year, not playing his best ball when the team, when it mattered, like going into the playoffs. So that's my worry. This he's been stuck on a lot of bad teams. He doesn't have the experience of playing in those big games, playing in playoff games, right? And that's what you worry about with him.
Hmm.
Um, he just, he's been on bad teams and he just doesn't. He's not seeing those type of uh, big money games. Late in the season, in the playoffs, doesn't have that experience. So that'd be the only thing I worry about with Darnold. Is that lack of experience in those big games. So hopefully, though, as he gets it, as he starts getting more and more reps in these big games, it's going to help him. These type of games help him. Get that experience. So no, I've been impressed with your team. I think they got a lot of talent. Um, you know, Jackson Smith and Nigba has been one of the best receivers in football. You have solid running backs. You have good depth at running back. Um, you have a solid defense. So yeah, I mean, your team's in really good position. I mean, that's a tough Rams team. Who've who are one of the better teams in football. Matthew Stafford having a MVP type season. Um, so that was a tough game regardless. So he's gonna make. I think he was. Um, I don't think all those interceptions were his fault. I think it was
Good
receivers
night.
didn't get good separation um, in that game. So I think he was trying to force the ball a little bit. Uh, but I think, like I said, I think you could be happy with where the Seahawks team is. Again, the thing I would worry about is Darnold in those big games not having that experience because he spent so much time on bad teams. So
Yeah, and then I do like you mentioned the running back combination there with Walker starting to. He actually had one of his better games um, in that against the Rams. Um, I know 67 yards, but still, it felt like one of his better performances. And Charbonnet,
right,
he's kind of reminds me of Algier for the Falcons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he's that type of running back for Seattle, where it's like a boom guy that can bang it in there, get the tough yards. Walker's more
Yeah.
elusive, and you kind of preserve Walker too when you have a Charbonnet. Now, I will say this, going back to your Falcons real quick. I think that um, Bijan should be treated like Marshall Faulk. He should be treated like Walter Payton. He should be like the guy to me. He's so dynamic in the passing game and the rushing game
Yeah.
that I don't see how he doesn't touch the ball. But I get that
Right.
Algier, like if you get some goal line and you want to be a goal line vulture, I'm cool with that. But that guy's super. But going back to my guy with Walker,
Yeah.
he's injury prone. He's not quite as good as a Robinson. So I like that we're splitting that up in Seattle. Some good young receivers. Horton's injured, but when he comes back, he's a game changer on special teams. But picking up Shaheed from New Orleans is going to
That was
be
a great
Right.
pickup.
that's
That was
that's
a
that's an
great
excellent,
pickup.
and I
Wow.
think that's going to pay off later on in bigger games and bigger situations.
Yeah, that's your deep threat. And that JSN, my God, how the hell he's always open?
Hey
He is
man, he's
not
nice.
he is
Yeah.
not the fastest guy. I mean, his routes, his route tree and how he stem his routes and how he just creates separation is elite. I mean, the guy hands is like
Bro.
glue. I mean, he's a better Tyler Lockett. He was
Yeah, and he was in. You remember he was in training for a year. Behind Lockett, or kind of like a little bit behind Lockett, and then
Yeah,
we moved on with Lockett, and now
yeah.
look, it's wide open. Yeah,
I
he's
And
our
mean,
again,
modern day Steve Largent.
and
He's our
again,
modern day
you
Steve Largent, fella.
yeah,
and you're going back to, you were the benefit of just a lot of bad quarterback decisions.
yeah,
You know, JJ, Minnesota Vikings. We're going to go with JJ McCarthy. He's
yeah,
been outside of maybe a game. He's been terrible.
yeah,
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
been horrible.
I mean Geno Smith. I'd be like, okay, we can move on from Geno Smith. He's been bad in Vegas.
oh yeah,
Um, you
yeah. And he
and
got a damn
looking at
offensive coordinator. Oh my gosh,
And again, how can you not look at the tape from Sam Darnold last year? I know he had a couple letdowns in the later games in the season, but how can you not look at that and not think of him as an option for your team? Whoever
Yeah,
needed a quarterback.
yeah,
Um, so again, you benefited from a lot of teams who just made bad quarterbacking decisions.
yeah.
Um,
Because
yeah,
they trying to rush. I mean, that playoff games against the Rams that Darnold had, where he got sacked and he had those turnovers. I mean, that scared Minnesota away. That was like, oh, we can't win with this guy. Plus they got the rookie. And JJ need to go and see the wizard, man.
But
Because
I mean, but you
yeah,
gotta trust. You gotta trust with your eyes what you've
yeah,
seen that season. You can't. It's just bad. It's just mismanagement to let a quarterback go who's had a season like that. You've
yep.
got Jordan Jefferson. You got who's Allison. You
Oh,
have him.
Addison,
You
yeah,
yeah, Addison. You have Jordan Addison. You have these receivers. You have the core there. You have a guy who meshed with him, and he had a couple bad games.
yeah.
Okay, but you can't to 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 mismanage that situation and go with a rookie who you've never seen. That to me, that's. I mean, you could have seen again. If he hadn't played, you could have probably traded him. His trade value is you would probably get something.
They could have got a
I don't
first
know
round pick
what you
for him.
because he hadn't played, so all he
Yeah,
still was going on was his draft film and all that. Um, it, again, it just boggles my mind when teams make those kind of decisions. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and you see, like any
They-
any quarterback who's been on the Jets or the Giants or some of these bottom barrel teams in Cleveland, you gotta wipe that shit from your memory, man.
yeah, yeah.
And
That is true.
you gotta wipe it from your memory. Those are bad organizations who just go through a carousel of quarterbacks and just ruin them.
Yep, yep. They'll
Because
stick.
like you said, Billy, they want to hit the home run with the quarterback before building their team.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
so you got to wipe that. You got to wipe all the Darnold stuff from the Jets out of your memory. You got
Yeah,
to wipe. I mean, probably not for Jordan. Probably not for Justin Fields because I just think he sucks. But
yeah.
you
Justin
know,
Fields has been
like,
bad.
so. was Daniel Jones. Another
Yeah,
example.
look at him. Look at him in Indiana.
Daniel
In
Jones.
Indiana. Yeah.
Some of these teams are so mismanaged, man. I wouldn't, I could give these quarterbacks, I would look at giving these quarterbacks another shot, when you come from those organizations. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. It's all about timing. Some of these guys need that development and finding where they belong. I mean, look at Chauncey Billups, for example, in basketball. He was drafted like if you go by how he was drafted and where he was, you'd be like, oh man, this was bad for him. But look how his career turned out once he bounced around and found the right spot and got into the right place and really was utilized based on his what he can bring to the game. And he may not have been like your franchise point guard, but in the right situations, he can have a Hall of Fame career, which he did. So you know what I mean? Like that's what this happens here. Daniel Jones looks like a whole new guy in Indiana, but they have a good running game, solid coaching. Then you bring in his experience now that he's gained over these years, going through the ups and downs, and now you're starting to get what you can really get out of a Daniel Jones, and that's what happens when you move these guys too fast. So spinning that back to Seattle, since that's the last thing we talked about, that's what I'm saying about our backup quarterback. You know, keep him in the cooker and let him learn. You know what I'm saying? Donald is a great guy to have in the meanwhile. You know what I mean? Great
yeah.
type of quarterback to have in the meantime. I think that happened with Philly too, didn't it? Because Jalen
Oh
Hurts
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
just come
man.
into Philly and become the quarterback. He didn't
Well,
just jump right in there, right?
no, Jalen Hurts really was supposed to have been Carson Wentz backup. The Eagles got tired of paying journeyman quarterbacks 10 and 15 million for 1 year. And they had the idea like, you know what, let's go and get this kid. We gonna develop him, we'll keep Carson and then flipping for a first or second round pick. We'll get him in some preseason games, show us tape, show some flash, and they pretty much was going to do that. But when 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 he showed up and showed out in training camp and the players started gravitating to him, Carson was like, "Get me out of here." So he kind of forced their hand. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, it worked out in the
Yeah,
long run.
hey man, you win that lottery scratch off every now and again,
Yeah,
And
man.
with this guy, man, this dude is a machine. He don't know how to lose, and I'm glad he don't know how to lose. You know,
Yep, and he fits. He fits the
yeah,
program,
yeah,
which is
and
again
and
that's
and the city, man. That because
yeah,
it's hard to play up there in Philly, man. I mean, dude, it's not for everybody,
yeah,
and if you don't, he fits the personality of the city, man, and that bodes well too. Um, and I even say for like for Atlanta and for Seattle, man, you gotta fit that culture, man, and
Sure.
it'll pay dividends in the long run, and that's another thing that the GMs need to pay attention to, you know.
right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, gentlemen, let's get a little AFC talk in real quick. Kansas City, uh, is it? Yeah, are we looking at them making the playoffs, or what? Are the Chiefs going to get in? They're too far behind to win the division, I think. But what about this playoff scenario too? Because right now they're not even the top 17 based
no,
on
Right.
rankings. They're
Right.
not
They would
top
miss.
seven right now.
yeah.
Right. They would miss the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they'll miss the playoffs right now. I'll say
Mhm.
Sunday is a pivotal game for them. If they go ahead and lose to the Colts, that put them at 5-6. I mean, they really don't have no tiebreakers for home field, and they scratching and clawing for a wild card game. I mean, hell, they're struggling. They can't even win their division because they lost one head to head already to Denver. So they're behind all the tiebreakers. So they need
Mm.
a few miracles, man. You know, I mean that. So I don't. I think the league will try to help them in a way because that they want that Taylor Swift on TV, man. They that stuff paid dividends, but I think they got old real quick. Andy
Yeah,
Reid really relied on Patrick Mahomes versus really building, that again, the program. You know, they got stagnant in their process, man. They put a lot on Pat, man, and unfortunately, it caught up to him, and I'm glad it did. I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs, but hey, that Super Bowl last year broke them, man, broke their will, buddy. So they haven't been right since, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I don't see them. I think winning the division is going to be tough. Um, but I just the teams in front of them. I mean, you look at who's in front of them with Houston, Jacksonville, the Chargers. I just, you telling me to trust those teams over the Chiefs? I don't know. I don't. Houston has been up and down. I do think they have good pieces, especially on the defensive side. I think they have a good defense. Jacksonville, I don't trust them at all. They're like they're the Falcons of the AFC to me. They find ways to lose more than they find ways to win. Same with the Chargers. They find ways to lose uh, more than find ways to win as well.
yeah,
So I'm
over
just
the
looking
last
at the team.
decade.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the teams in front of them that I just really don't trust. Um, but the thing is, KC, the Chiefs just aren't dominant on one side of the ball anymore. I heard somebody talking about
Mhm.
this today. They've had seasons where their offense has been so good, right? And then the defense has been it. And they have seasons where the defense has been elite, you know. Um, but now it just seems like both of them both sides of the ball just kind of so that's what uh, worries them about me. I just don't think either side of the ball is elite anymore.
No,
Um, and I think Patrick Mahomes, for all he's done, he's been kind of underwhelming this year.
Yeah.
Um, so, but like I said, I wouldn't count them out just because of the teams. They're so inconsistent. Um, in front of them. Like it's hard for me to pick which one. I like to say the Chargers, but again, they're one of those teams that they play good a couple games and then they'll just you know get demolished another game, and then so. I think that's kind of the teams in front of them. That's how they've been. All of them have been inconsistent. So if you think about who I'm going to trust, I still trust the Chiefs more than those other teams in front of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I'll say this: if they do get in, it's gonna be a one and done. I mean, I think it'll be because for one, they're not playing in the comfort of Arrowhead, and that's a clear home field advantage, man. What? Because it's like the players and the fans, they turn it up a notch when you're playing in that environment. Your outside is cold and windy and wet and all that, man. That stuff comes into play. But to be away from that comfort of Arrowhead and then the refs, I mean, they get a couple gifts every now and again when they need them, you know. And Pat knows it. He plays it to his advantage. Flopping like a flounder. If somebody somebody get there.
I mean,
Lade Divac.
the one thing I'll say about the Chiefs, and I just don't understand why they can't hit on running back. Why they can't have that,
They have they
really workhorse running back. Pacheco's fine. They still giving carries to Kareem Hunt for some reason. But
Yeah.
why can't they find a running back? I feel like of all the positions, running back's kind of the one you could find. Like hell, how many
Andy
teams have two
Reid.
good running backs?
Andy Reid, man.
And I think that's always been the kind of missing. That would take so much. That would take all the pressure off,
oh
some pressure off Mahomes and make him even more lethal in the play action. But they cannot seem to find that workhorse running back.
man. Can you imagine if they had it, man? If they had like a Priest Holmes. Remember, like when I think of Chiefs and running backs, I remember Priest Holmes,
Larry
um, um,
Johnson.
um, Larry Johnson, Charles,
Oh yeah.
Charles,
Jamal
Jamal
Charles.
Charles.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you want
Jamal
to go back to
Charles. Yeah.
Christian Okoye? Uh,
Barry
I
Ward.
mean, look, Marcus Allen. Like they
Yeah.
had some guys play back that was really pretty good. I don't get it either. Like that, I man, they would have been lethal with a back.
Yeah,
that's a three down back, and especially one that can catch the ball in the backfield too, on top of being a three down back.
yeah,
Wow, that wouldn't be fair.
And
yeah,
I think that just it feels like that's something they could address in the trade market. Like, how many teams have two
Mhm.
good running backs? Why can't you just go after one of these running? Why can't you call Tennessee and be like, what can I get for Tony Pollard, for example?
that
So
would have been
that's
ideal. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the kind of back that Andy Reid would like a Brees Hall, somebody that because
yeah,
Andy
yeah,
yeah.
Reid, that his style of offense, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. If you can't catch, he
yeah.
don't want you.
Westbrook, remember Brian
Yeah,
Westbrook in
he
Philly?
went. Westbrook was 5'7", 170. I mean, he was elite, but when he got hit, he wasn't able to sustain a full season because he stayed injured because he was slighter built.
Hmm.
And that's the one thing that with Andy
He catch
Reid,
that
he
ball.
has a blind spot for true talent, man, and seeing past their
Yeah.
flaws. And I think as an organization, they put a lot of pressure on Pat because Pat saved them. So it was like, oh yeah, we don't need this. Oh yeah, we don't need that. We got Pat.
Mhm.
Pat to make it
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
And
and
now they seeing the other side of it. He need help.
yeah, and you've seen that with a lot of teams. When you have these elite quarterbacks, you've seen it with Brady, for
Yeah,
example. There's how many years should Brady just have seemed like he had nothing around him,
yeah,
That's what happened when these quarterbacks get really good and elite. Sometimes these organizations they are, hesitant to build that offense up. They're like,
yep,
we got Brady, we got Mahomes. Let's build the defense. Let's focus in other areas.
yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean that comes back to bite you at some point.
Yeah,
And I think you're
Mhm.
seeing that. I think you're seeing that with the Chiefs right now.
Yeah, and even on defense, man, they relied on Chris Jones. Chris Jones is old now. He's
Sure.
playing on one leg.
Yeah.
Karlaftis is a one-trick pony. If he
Yeah.
can't do that little slap drag and get around the edge, and all he's doing is chasing sacks because he don't play the run well. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
that
like
defense is, the cornerback. I mean, they got the one cornerback,
yeah.
McDuffie, but Watson, oh my God, number 35. It's like, where 35 at? Throw a go ball. He's gonna give you a PI.
It's like, hey, we got one more year of Kelsey. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I mean and especially once Kelsey walk away. I mean, you got the guy that the receiver who's always in trouble.
Rash-
Um,
You got Rasheed
Rice,
Rice. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he's more of a possession guy. He's not your glaring number one that you really going to worry about. I mean, he runs a bunch of shallow crosses, and I mean, you drop your linebackers underneath, you walk a safety down, you take him away. I mean, they don't have, and they relying on Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, who's a one trick pony,
yeah,
and who's Slider
Yeah,
Bill,
they're
who's gonna
yeah,
stay
they're
injured.
kind of yeah, they're kind of redundant too. Kind
Yeah,
of the same type of receiver.
exactly.
yeah. And an aging tight end. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So you got to start getting what's next in line in Kansas City. I mean, like for what they had has been great, but now it's time to start. You got to figure out how to
But
get the next wave going.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you've seen this with, you've seen. I go back to the New England Patriot when you have all those years in success, and you're drafting 30s, late 20s, 30s. Those picks are more glaring. You have to hit those if you want to sustain the dynasty, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Makes those picks all the more important.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that with Kansas City right now with Worthy. I mean, he's fine, but he's no number one.
Mm-mm.
So you're
Right.
seeing that. You're seeing they've tried. They've drafted late because of their success, and they haven't been able to hit on enough of those draft picks to build up that side of the ball.
Yeah, and now they're starting to fill it on their offensive line. I mean, their left side of that line, I mean, is struggling. I mean, Pat got beat up last week by the Broncos, man. He got beat up. That
Yep.
dude was
Yep.
seeing ghosts by the third quarter.
Yep.
I never seen Pat just throw a moon ball up just to throw it up. He was getting that ball out of his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, but we definitely gonna see if they can figure out a way to bounce back and get in. As you all stated, the teams ahead of them, they'll allow an opportunity there for the Chiefs to kind of get to that finish line before they do. So we'll see which one of those teams falter. I mean, I can't imagine. Well, it's only I think only Houston or Jacksonville's gonna get in right by winning their division. That's one.
I don't
right?
know, man. I
Go
don't know.
Indy.
Uh, right?
No. Right now, the
You
That's
think
Chiefs.
Indy.
both?
They
That's
should.
the Indy.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, only Houston or Jacksonville is going to be able to possibly getting in outside of the South. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
y-
They're not
Jacksonville
both
got a
going to get in.
chance.
yeah, yeah,
Houston, Houston about to take. They losing tomorrow. They're losing to the
yeah.
Bills tomorrow.
I mean, because Indy's gonna make it. We know New England's gonna make it,
Yeah.
right? It's
So
pretty
that's two.
safe to say that.
That's 1 and 2. So the
Yeah,
Broncos, Indy, that's 1 and 2. Then you
yeah,
got
Yeah.
the
they're in
Chargers.
it.
You only see one. You probably only see one of Pittsburgh or Baltimore making it. You know.
Yeah,
Right. Either Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
yeah,
Right.
That should be a one team playoff
yeah,
division.
Yeah.
So we just
That's a
named
bad.
three,
That's a
right?
terrible division.
yeah. That's
And then the Broncos are going to win their division, so that's four. So now there's three slots.
so you got the Chargers.
Hmm.
You gotta. I mean, I
You
expect the
got
Bills to get in.
the
Jags and
Bills.
Chargers,
Yeah, the Bills.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
that
there you
gives
go.
the
That's a
NFC
two.
East. I mean AFC East
Thanks
2 teams.
two.
The
Right.
AFC West 2 teams. You got the Colts. That's 5. You
Well,
got
the
the
West is one team right now, isn't it? With
the Chargers is in there. They
well,
fifth.
they okay. I mean,
So
Yeah,
like we
Denver.
feel like they're going to
Yeah.
be in.
So
yeah, they
Denver. Yeah. The Chargers are 7-4, so they're in a little better
yeah,
position than, and then you got Jacksonville 6-4 and 7-4, so they're kind of the two
yeah,
teams that are slotted in right now.
yeah,
Then you got the 5-5 Texans, the 5-5 Chiefs, the
Chiefs,
5-5
Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, that's crazy,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So the Ravens are trying to catch the Steelers to see who get in. The Chiefs got to catch the Chargers. They got to get past the Texans and the Jags.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a possibility here. I mean, I would lay money on Kent City overtaking Texans and Jacksonville, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the Chargers falter.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Chargers do it every year though.
yeah,
I mean, to lose
they
that
find a way,
they lost what 35-6 last week. That was just
and
horrible.
they lost to Jacksonville. That's crazy.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
you know, so yeah. I mean, I
It-
wouldn't be surprised. I mean, but if the Chiefs go ahead and lose to the Colts Sunday, and then turn
ooh,
around and let's say they got a Thanksgiving game against Dallas, and Dallas's, you know, they can put up points. So they're gonna force Pat to throw that ball 47, 54 times. Just because their defense won't be able to stop Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So they're gonna have to play pretty much arena football. You
I,
know.
I will. I will say these Jaguars have a pretty easy schedule going in. They have the Cardinals,
uh-oh.
the Titans twice,
Woo.
and the Jets still to go. I mean, they have all those
Oh
games
man.
Man, they might
mixed
go.
So
in.
What they
they
might go? What 13-4, 12-4, whatever
The
it is.
the Titans twice, the Cardinals and the Jets.
Yeah, that's all wins.
That's
well, thank you NFL for your formula. A lot of teams that are bad one year
right.
they get good schedule, and this man, if Jacksonville don't make the playoffs with that schedule, with those games remaining, I
Yeah.
don't know when they're gonna
It,
make it.
I mean, you just look at it. You think about the schedule wise. You
Yeah.
think about uh, you think about KC and Baltimore specifically. They got those first place schedules, man, and
Mm-hmm.
they still got a bunch of tough games. You think about Jacksonville. You think about Houston, who finished lower in their divisions.
Yeah,
So schedule's definitely going to come into play.
Yeah.
Um,
mhm.
it's just
Definitely.
when you got to play these tough teams week in and week out and battle for that playoff position. Every game matters. That schedules can come to play. Maybe a team like Jacksonville or Houston, sneaks in there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
gonna be interesting.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. Hey, so we tackled almost everything. There's one more to tackle. This will probably be the viral segment, and
All right.
that's Shedeur Sanders. He is slated to start this weekend, this Sunday, 4 o'clock, uh, at Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be the most watched game of the
Oh
year
yeah.
in NFL. So
I'm not watching it. I'm watching that game, man.
Hey, he
I
might
gotta.
be he might be a quarterback in a year or two.
I got to get you guys' thoughts on it. I mean, because we got to get the content right. So,
Yeah.
but yes, need to get your thoughts on it. A, talk about his 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 brief appearance there against the Ravens coming
Yeah.
in, and then we'll talk about what you think is going to happen against the Raiders.
Um,
So,
that Ravens game, that was a tough spot for that young man. I mean, you coming off the bench cold. The Ravens got a lot to play for, and that defense coordinator, or he heated Shedeur up. I mean, there was a couple throws Shedeur made, man, and the one in the end zone where that fourth string receiver, he just, I mean, he had the ball. He put the ball in a great spot. He just didn't have the wherewithal to make the play. But I mean, eh, he had you see small flashes from Shador with more refined coaching, field presence, understanding your spot. You got a third down. You don't throw a go ball 3rd and 5. Get your first down. Come on, man. It's
move and
it's
change.
it's stuff like that you're not in Colorado no more, bro. You don't have you're not throwing to Travis. You throwing to John Miller right now because what's his name from Alabama, he can't get open. Judy is more of a possession guy. So it was just one of those things, man. I think he'll have a better showing against the Raiders. The Raiders, all those guys are ready to go to the Bahamas, so they can care less. Other than Crosby, Crosby is the only one that's a villain out there.
And
Those other
Brock
guys,
Bowers.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, but he play offense, But
Mhm.
yeah, Crosby, they got to double Crosby, but I think he'll have a better game. And I hope that they give him the full package, man. They really run the ball with Quentin, and they play a true offense versus trying to show this kid up and just giving him pass, 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 pass. You know, and I think he'll show out well. I mean, the ratings gonna be there because hell, I don't even watch the Browns, but I'll tune in. Why not? Just to see what he got. But it might be one of y'all future quarterbacks, so I think y'all should tune in too. Cause
Well, we had a chance to draft him multiple
yeah,
times, and we went with Alabama's quarterback Milton. So,
yeah,
but
I
yeah,
think after if he shows out this game, there's gonna be a couple GMs that's calling the Browns this off season and try to take him off their hands because I mean they
okay,
really like that kid Gabriel up in Cleveland. It shows. And if I'm Shador and I'm representing him, I'm getting him out of town as quick as possible.
yeah. Well, what's your thoughts there, Brooks, on that performance against the Ravens, and then we'll talk about what's going on moving forward.
I mean, he was 416. That's not good.
Mhm.
47 yards interception. He wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I listened to some bites off his press conference, and he said he's a field quarterback. He's got to be out there and get a feel for the game before, which is fine. Okay. I mean, I'd rather you just say I need to play better, and just move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And instead of this seems like making excuses. Of course, every quarterback needs reps, would like to have reps out in a game environment
yeah,
before being thrust in. But
especially a young quarterback.
yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, he'll have first team reps all practice, so um, he'll have a game plan that's built his his skill set. But also it's the Cleveland Browns. Do I trust them to properly call the game around him? We talked about this earlier with the teams. How many quarterbacks has this team went through? Do I trust the Browns with Shedeur Sanders to draft a good game plan around Shedeur Sanders? I don't. Like,
No,
no, there's no way. You got like the Giants out here calling quarterback runs for, Jackson Dart, getting him just obliterated for no reason
Right.
when they
He's
are
done.
terrible, when they've lost their starting running back, their top receiver, and you over here having him run around and get concussed. Like, take that for example. Like, I don't trust this team with him. So I can't, ideally you would want to hand it to Judkins a lot because he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they'll do that. But like I said, I don't trust that. I don't see, especially if you look at that receiving core is not good.
Mm-mm.
I like Njoku. Judy's a good secondary third receiver.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot around him. So
They
the
got that kid
expectations,
Harold Fanning, man, but they don't utilize him. The kid from Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't utilize him right.
so
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. He's gonna have to be, like I said, just make smart decisions. He's gonna have to just distribute the ball to everybody and just try to make smart decisions and try not to make mistakes. And try to keep his team in the ball game and
Yeah.
utilize the stud running back. But again, and maybe a lot of this isn't on Shedeur. I just don't think he's with a good organization, so I don't
No.
trust the Cleveland Browns to develop him and to draft a good game plan around him. So I don't have high expectations for him. But they are playing the Raiders, so the
Yeah.
Raiders are not good. So, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
Max Crosby is still a beast. So
And he gonna want
we'll
to
see.
And
show up because he
Yeah.
know who on the other side. Number
So
95.
yeah.
Yeah, he played. He when him and
yeah,
95 is on the field together, it's a sacrifice, man.
yeah.
They trying to duel it out. And
And a lot of these young quarterbacks, who don't get, come from, who come from college and maybe that was never pressured like that. They don't like I've seen it with the Penix. They don't have that feel for pressure, and
yeah,
that's when
Yeah.
mistakes happen. That's when you get the strip sacks. That's when you just get blasted from the blind side and lose the football.
yeah,
So he's going to have to be really careful with that, and that's again, that's on the Browns. Are they going to chip Crosby? Are they going to double him? They need to
yeah,
keep him. Are they going to roll him out away from him? Are they
yeah.
going
I
to do
mean,
those?
yeah,
Are they going to do those stupid things so that doesn't happen?
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
mean, even it happened in the Dallas game, with a veteran quarterback. I
yeah,
mean, so
Exactly.
I'm a
yeah,
little I'm a little nervous about I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Even it is
Yeah.
the Raiders, as they do have that stud DN, so I'm a little nervous. Oh,
They,
we'll see what happens.
they are
Maybe he can surprise some people.
yeah,
well, they are playing against the NFL defense. And but in the scheme of things, the Raiders have shown like there's been a lot of games where teams have been able to put up some points. I mean, Jacksonville looked really good against them one week. But I'll say this: Shador did not look good, in my opinion, at all when he in that with the brief time that he was in there against the
yeah,
Ravens. I mean, it's not something that I'm shocked at, but but just given the assessment of what happened, yeah, I mean, the numbers say it speak for itself. The QBR rating was one of the worst probably ever. Like, was it 13 or something? It would,
yeah,
but it's a combination of being a young guy
Thirteen
being
point
thrown in.
five.
Yeah, 13.5. Yeah, and being in a situation where, hey, this the big boys now, and like you can't try to make those plays that you made in college. Those plays just don't work in the pros. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And and again, they did not. Cleveland did not do either quarterback any favor by not having a keeping the veteran quarterback out there. You know what I'm saying? They should have, that's and let them learn from the sidelines, not learn from on the field. So, performance wise, there was decisions that I saw, some throws that were like, okay, you had an open guy here, but you didn't throw it there. There was some forces. Still that habit of trying to hold the ball too long, which has been something that he's done all the way through his college career. Even at Jackson State and at Colorado,
Yeah,
holding the ball a lot, but you was able to get away with it
he got away
at
with
Jackson
it.
State
He was a
because
better athlete.
you had the talent advantage at Jackson State,
Yeah,
right? And then you had the talent advantage at Colorado to a degree, because you had Hunter as your receiver and another NFL type receiver, and you was in a conference where those receivers could really just take advantage of the DBs in that conference. So, when you don't have those type of advantages, now is when you have to make the right play. And
yeah,
so we'll see if he can make the right type of plays. Me personally, this week coming up, I would like to see Cleveland run the ball 40 times. I would like to see a lot of screen passes to the running back.
There you go.
I would like, you know what I'm saying, tight end screens, running back screens,
Yep.
maybe a play action, throw it deep then after that. But
Yeah.
don't no hero type game. You know what I'm saying? This is not what this is set up for. Um, you did because again, you could be out on one play trying to make a hero play,
Yeah.
run around too much, get one hit, and you're out there. You looking like you sitting over there with Jackson Dart. You sitting there with Dylan Gabriel. You're sitting there with a whole bunch of other quarterbacks that are down and out right now because this
Yeah.
league will put you down. So we'll see what happens though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, man. If I'm Stefanski, I mean, I'm building in a lot of check downs for him. Hey, kid, look, one read, two read, check it down. One read, two read, check it down, and drill it in his head. Hey, we live to punt, we live to kick field goals. Get us in,
Yep,
third and if we third and manage, now you learning how to sustain drives. That's the one thing that Shedeur did. He knows about it because he's obviously playing football and he's been playing. But it's knowing how to survive in an NFL game, and you gotta understand it's 10 yards in the cloud of dust. They say that for a reason because your
yep,
goal is to get 10 yards. Now you get another slot to move the ball. You're not all that 50-yard, 60-yard bomb stuff. You're not at Colorado. You don't have the offensive line in front of you that's going to hold up for 3 seconds while you're sitting there trying to, wait for your guy to clear. And then when you release the ball, then you're like, oh damn, the safety is on his way because you threw a little moon ball up there trying to put touch on it. You know, be in rhythm, stay within the offense, and if it's not there, first read, check it down.
yep,
And that's pretty much going to be his save his grace. And again, live the punt, celebrate a field goal, and celebrate if you're able to get a touchdown. But if you win the game 6-3, but you managed the hell out of that game and you didn't turn the ball over, I mean, hey, dude, that's you pat yourself on the back.
that's it. That's it. That's what you want. I
Yeah,
mean, this is the reality part of it, right? Not
exactly.
the entertainment piece of it. We're not don't come out here thinking you need a 300-yard game, 4 touchdowns,
Nah,
and all that kind of stuff. Like you just want to win the game.
yeah,
I mean, and I think Cleveland's defense, the players on that defense, you know, I think
they'll rally
that's what you
around
need to
them.
give them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Miles,
they're
Miles
rallying.
gonna have them dudes riled up to rally around them to get him
Yeah,
the
but
ball as many possessions as possible, to shorten the
but
field as much as possible. Because Gino gonna give them some gifts. It's Christmas in November. Oh my God, it is
oh,
Christmas.
that's a whole nother factor.
Miles
Not
Garrett might have
only
8 sacks.
not only is it the Raiders defense, but the Raiders offense. You know what I'm saying with Geno
Yeah,
possibly helping Cleveland get some good field position or a quick turnover, and then now you're in scoring position already where you
yeah.
don't necessarily have to put together a long drive. So yeah, just
And they
play it
don't play
safe.
ball. I mean,
Hmm.
Gentry is just he's an ornament. He's just for
Yeah,
show. I mean, you in a whole NFL game, you touch the ball 6 times for 7 yards. That's
yeah.
and
Don't
you.
remind me of
I know. I'm sorry. I had to bring it up.
that.
I wanted to
Nah,
bring it up
hey,
earlier in the podcast, and I was frozen.
let's not do that, man. All right, and then I got him on my fantasy team. I got and Brooks, that league we're in, right? I got what Genty, Saquon, and
Ooh.
uh, and Bijan,
Ouch.
and I'm 500.
I don't even want to talk
I
about
didn't
that
want to
team
talk
right
about
now.
fantasy, dude. I dropped out weeks ago, man. I
Hey
was
man,
a white
but
flag this year.
yeah, hey man, but yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that game. But
Yeah.
and again, I want to. Hey, speaking of Genty, I want to see him have a good game.
Yeah.
These are two rookies. They're drafted in the same draft, and we'll get this. They get the showcase. So let's see what happens there.
Gentry gonna have a long day. The Cleveland defense is real,
Against
bro.
Cleveland. No, that defense legit.
Defense is
Yeah,
for
their
real.
defense tough. Yeah,
They
it's tough.
I wish that defense could play offense. And I
Ooh,
mean, they might be playing offense because Gino gonna throw them some gifts. I'm telling you, they might be
man.
taking one back to the crib or two.
I mean, They gave him 6 carries against the Cowboys. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
That is
Geno
sad.
Smith, Geno Smith passed it 42 times. It's just
That sounds backwards.
that's that's
That's
some
that's Chip
exactly
Kelly for you.
exactly. And I'm not, and I was listening to a lot of this game, so it wasn't like because they got down bad. They started off just Geno Smith dropping back, passing, passing, passing. So this wasn't like they were trying to play catch up. They started out with that game plan.
Yeah.
I'm just make me wonder about Pete Carroll, man. What's going on, man? I don't
Man,
understand
Pete Carroll should have
Oh
took that
man,
playbook and told Chip Kelly to go back to Oregon.
that.
Because he is single-handedly ruining that team already.
there's
That
some
Yeah,
bad teams out there, man.
yeah.
right. And both of them are playing each other this weekend. Go figure. All
Hey,
right. All right, gentlemen. Any closing remarks?
hey man. Don't lose faith in my birds. Y'all gonna see them in February.
The birds in February. All right.
I have lost faith in my Falcons, so
So no birds in February for okay.
not those birds, not
Not the
those
dirty
birds.
birds.
No, not these birds. No,
Well,
man.
the Hawks will be playing in February.
There you go. These birds.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks will be playing. The Atlanta Hawks will be playing in February, and
Yeah,
it'll
yeah. I
be
mean,
the regular
ain't
season's
mad.
going on. So
I ain't mad at my Hawks. I ain't mad at my Hawks.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a they've been properly managed lately, so I'll give it to them. They actually
yeah,
had a good off season and got a lot of depth and talent now, young talent. So
yeah.
I'm good. I'm good on
I,
them. Good
okay,
on them.
and I think my birds, the Seattle Seahawks, which is a mythical bird, by the way, y'all. It's not a the Seahawks is not a it's not a real
Not
bird.
not a real
It's
bird.
just it's a mythical bird. You have to go back to this Indian tribe and all this stuff, but um, and the logo comes from a Indian tribe guy who made this mask, and if you see that Seahawk and how it's made, that's where the Seahawk logo came from. But
Okay.
anyway, uh, so we'll be playing in January. I could pretty much put that much out there.
Yeah.
Now, how far in January, we'll see. But if I was to give me 1 or 2 weeks in January, I'd be good with them this season. Man, good talking to you guys, man. Once
Yeah.
again, man.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
man. And that's why we had to take our time with this one, man, and make up for those other opportunities that we didn't get to get
Yeah.
together. So I'm glad we was able to do this.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Yep.
Yeah, man. As we get to the college football playoffs, we'll come back and tackle that again. And as we get closer to this playoffs and see where the Chiefs are and all that. And hey, we'll get to review what happened over the weekend. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Oh yeah. Just let me know. I'm available.
All right. That merch coming out there to Texas too,
All right. Hey,
Philly Red Zone.
I'll send you the Addy, man.
It's coming out there, buddy. All right. All right. Well, for Philly Red Zone and Brooks to showcase, I'm the 4-1. We'll see you when we see you.
All
We
right, later.
out.